Hi, folks. Chris Daley here, and small is my privilege to have conversation with great Jamaicans doing great things throughout the world. And we have a great person for you today. We have Nathaniel Peat. He's a multi-award winning entrepreneur with a youth advocate and a patron of the Ernest Young Foundation, and was listed in the 2018 Empower 100 Ethnic Minorities Executive List that was presented by the Financial Times. Mr. Peat is listed as being one of the top 100 ethnic minority leaders across the UK, Ireland, US, and Canada. That's global as far as I'm concerned. To do the interview today is my co-host, Janice. Janice, take it away, please.
Well, thanks, Chris. Nathaniel, how are you today?
It's great to be with you. I'm great, and I'm doing good. I'm back in the United Kingdom after some really good weather in Jamaica, which I'm missing.
Which we all love home. So speaking of Jamaica, tell us about your Jamaican roots.
Well, I mean, you know, my family hails from the parish of St. Anne, and my mother's side is from Portland, and you know, just fantastic actually being connected to the roots. You know, I have memories of swimming in rivers and getting my feet tangled in the reeds at the bottom of the river, and just having the young experience of Jamaica, and you know, being in the United Kingdom and then regularly traveling back to Jamaica with my mom and dad, and having family. It was just such a great experience, and helped me to maintain the linkage to my heritage, which is Jamaica. And you know, the parish of St. Anne is a beautiful parish, and that's where my family home actually is right now in Runaway Bay.
Yeah, I too have a connection to St. Anne's, and your childhood was just wonderful. It seems like, what was your childhood like for you? You mentioned it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in terms of my early years were very good. But in terms of being in the United Kingdom, as a teenager, I had several challenges. As you know, when you're coming from a Jamaican family, there are high morals. You know, your education is foremost. You know, mom and dad will say to you, do your best, your absolute best, and that's exactly what I tried to achieve when I was at primary level. However, when I went to secondary school, here in England, the system is very different, and the way in which they teach you is with a different type of perspective, and there was quite a lot of racial tension in the area of London that I grew up in, which was known as Tottenham. And a number of Jamaicans lived in Tottenham. And at the time, there was a very high-profile murder of a woman by the name of Joy Gardner, who was killed by the police. She wasn't involved in crime or violence, and that meant that there was a great deal of animosity between the black community in Tottenham at the time. And that was part of my experience as an early teen in the United Kingdom. And that's right. Consequently, when I was at school, I had a higher level of mathematics because of my primary education that was very good. But when I went into secondary school, the maths wasn't being given to me in the same way which I had it before, and I became disengaged in the curriculum. In fact, I felt as though many of my teachers, I think, had some racial prejudice towards the black boys in particular within the classes, as this negative perception of Jamaican youth was propagated in the media quite heavily at the time. And as a result of that, I didn't do well at school. I fell below the minimum grades, and I failed literally at the GCSE level, which is equivalent to let's say O-level level, or just before you go into high school in the US. I failed at that level, and my friends were involved in crime and violence, and it meant that I didn't do well. But I came from a family that really wanted me to achieve, and I felt disappointed in myself, and I tried to.
Yeah, but you know what though? A lot of entrepreneurs whether it's Steve Jobs or even Einstein, a lot of them didn't do quote unquote well in school, but they became outstanding entrepreneurs. So maybe this was a blessing in disguise. When did you realize you had that entrepreneurial bug?
Well, I mean, when I went to university, because I managed to get onto A levels in the United Kingdom because I was persistent. I didn't get the grades, but I kept on pushing. I was in the A level physics. I remember queuing up for an hour, and then I got rejected. I queued up for another hour, got rejected. I queued up for another hour, got rejected. And then they accepted me because I was so determined. And I went to university, but I'd learned martial arts when I was young. And as a martial arts person, that's right, that discipline, that focus.
It enabled you to focus, yeah. Where did you, you mentioned martial arts. Where, were there some folks who nurtured you in this talent? I'm assuming your martial arts teacher, or who were people that nurtured you in the talent?
Yeah, I mean, while I was growing up in London, there was a West Indian, Jamaican, in fact, martial arts teacher that my dad, in fact, went to the school. I went to the school. My brother went to the school, and so we learned martial arts. But this is leading into the question you asked about entrepreneurship, because when I went to university, what I was doing is I was teaching people how to do martial arts at university, which meant that I could earn an income from that. And so I realized then that using your skill sets.
That's the entrepreneurial bug striking in, eh?
That's right.
There you go. Do you recall your first initiative in the marketplace? Was that it? Teaching us? Or was there another one?
No, I mean, that was the main thing that I had, which was using skill sets as a way of earning income. So, teaching people to do martial arts at £5 per hour, and you'd have 30 people in the class that would produce 150 pounds from that class. And that was actually using skill sets to actually earn an income and following.
But you know what? Because of your entrepreneurial venture, I'm sure you've had ups and downs. So how do you deal with failure?
Well, I mean, I'd failed as a young person when I was in school, and I realized that determination is the key thing. So if you're failing, then you're going to fail forwards. I did manage to achieve my degree. I did manage to get my master's degree. So it didn't mean that I was dumb. It didn't mean that I was not, I didn't have sense. I had intelligence. The thing which I lacked was the interest. It didn't interest me. And so then by understanding if you've got a passion, if you've got a desire for something, then you're going to push. And that in itself is a motivation, because when you find purpose attached directly to the thing that you love doing, then you're going to be successful. Even if you are not successful the first time, you don't view failure as failure. You view failure as experience. And then what you do is you use that then to push forward, not doing the same things that you were doing before, but now doing a different thing to achieve a different outcome.
Oh, wow. That was pretty packed. That was a pretty packed answer, which we love. My audience loves this. So help us understand the present marketplace and why entrepreneurship is so vital.
Well, I mean, when you're looking at the marketplace right now, for example, in Europe, you have the Brexit situation, which is creating a lot of problems in terms of mindsets with young people, where they're going to go and how they're going to get jobs. Where you're looking at countries like Jamaica, whereby so many young people are unemployed in Jamaica. They are not in education or in training or employment. You're looking at the United States, whereby there is a disproportionality of Caribbean, diaspora that will get jobs or going into university, where you're looking at these inner city communities where the young people are failing, and oftentimes they are Caribbean or Black American that are failing within that system. It creates an opportunity then for people to develop their skills and their talents. Wherever there is a great need, you have a great business. Example being, if you need your haircut and there is no no barber in the area, it means that you can become a barber and set up a barber shop, and now you've got business. And so out of great need, if you think about fixing the problems that exist in society, then you can have a business. The entrepreneurial space right now, the opportunities exist based in Jamaica in particular, in land investment in particular, in agriculture, in gastronomy, in energy. There are so many opportunities that exist back home in Jamaica as well as around areas of the diaspora. And it's about where you cannot... Go ahead, sir.
And not just in Jamaica. Right now in the U.S., the age of the average farmer in the U.S. is 54 years old. So really, we're going to need farmers because everybody eats, whether it's the U.S. or Jamaica. So entrepreneurs, if you're interested in farming, whether it's Jamaica or here or in the U.S., you've got a niche. You've definitely got a niche, you know? What are some essential skills that one needs to become an entrepreneur?
Well, there are key things that entrepreneurs need. They need a drive to be better than they are. They have to have a mindset of success. Oftentimes people will say, oh, get a job or go and do something else. And they have to be determined. They have to remain focused. They've got to be persistent. They have to have common sense. They have to upskill themselves. And I say there's 3 columns of business success. The first column is skills. If you want to open a cake shop or a bakery, then you must learn how to cook. At first, I would say, and then get your cooks on board. And if you're doing a web design company and you're good at developing websites, but then someone comes to you and says they want an app, then it's about you upskilling yourself. So it's the willingness to learn and upskill yourself. Then it is, in addition to that, the power of networking. It's not necessarily who you know, but it's about who knows you. You know, where you have a situation whereby people will look at a contact, they will take the contact's card, but that contact is not knowing who that person is. The key thing is, how do you develop that network? How can you basically make that contact know who you are? So it's not about who you know, but it's about who knows you. So the power of networking is key to entrepreneurship. And then it's actually building a team that is better at doing it than you. So if you get people that are better at doing it than you, then you're going to be increasing, you're going to be developing and being adaptable. And there are so many components, but the key thing is actually the mindset of success. You are the only limitation that exists. And if you focus on removing those limitations in the mind, you will be successful.
And the fact that we're in the diaspora, it allows us to expand, not only brand Jamaica, but just expand globally, because we're everywhere. You are focused on bringing these skills to use on the margins of society. What motivates you to do this?
Well, you know, when I was growing up again, I didn't do well at school, and so many of my friends were involved in crime and violence, but when they were moving things like drugs and stuff like that, that is entrepreneurial skills. When they're weighing up particular drugs like, let's say, it's marijuana or whatever, then that's entrepreneurial skills. When they've got their line, the line basically is where they got their workers going out and doing this. They are entrepreneurs. And so where you have young people that are disengaged in the curriculum, they have very good adaptive skills. They have the gift of the gab. They are risk takers. These are all components of entrepreneurs. And so
I've always said that. I said the fact that they know these organizational skills, if they had opportunities to put those skills in another vehicle,
that.
Oh my goodness, we're talking Jeff Bezos in our community and the exponential rate. You know what I mean? But this is a huge task. It is just a huge task, you know? And take a moment and speak to other business-minded folks as to why they should join you in your endeavors.
Well, I mean, business owners that are in the space of business, you know, it's about thinking about profit with purpose. You know, purpose attached us to many things that are good. And when you can do something for good, using your business, it helps your brand and it helps your business. So when you can empower with your business, it's going to assist your business. For example, with my energy company, Genex, we teach and train people in developing countries how to build and assemble and install our solar products. What does that mean for us? It means that we're not just selling, but we're empowering people. And so what I say for other business leaders is to try to think about doing business with purpose. Try to think about profit with purpose. And I'm not speaking about not-for-profit, because you can't do good business based upon donations only. No. How can you think about having a business whereby you're producing a product or running a service, and now that is creating some level of impact? And I would encourage business owners to get involved in the space of profit with purpose, and joining what we're doing. You know, reach out your hand, get a young apprentice on board, train them up, lead by example, and be an inspiration, and that will help your brand of your business, because your business will then be doing good.
Are there some cultural attributes that we Jamaicans should be leveraging to improve our possibilities?
Yeah, man. I mean, brand Jamaica is huge. I mean, what I'm saying, we look about it, you know what I mean? So, you can go out there, you can go out there and you can say Jamaica anywhere, and boom, you have your door open. Example, when I go down to Kenya, or I'm going out to Africa, I use my Jamaican passport. I use my British passport, I use my Jamaican passport. We're going there. But say my Jamaican, boom, that's it, man, in. Because they identify with the culture, they identify with the music, they identify with the love of the music and the love of the food and the tropical atmosphere and the vibe of Jamaica. Right. Jamaica has a swagger, and so therefore it is a very good component using our Jamaican culture and heritage and attributes to actually open doors in other countries. In particular, I'm speaking of my experience being in Africa and actually using Jamaican passport and saying that I hail from Jamaica, and then the doors are open wider and people feel a little bit more happy to work with us.
Yes. And with that leverage, how can we invest some of these skills back into our homeland? And what are some of the challenges we have in doing this?
I mean, there are opportunities for investing back into Jamaica through the initiatives we do in diaspora. One of the problems that we have is that people that are investing into Jamaica, let's say from a charitable perspective, they will try to send something down without the right paperwork, and then they get in problems when we get to customs because they've sent down some things and custom holds it. It's because they haven't done the right procedural paperwork beforehand. So the diaspora, these are the challenges. The diaspora is not necessarily equipped on how they can send something. So if you're working with a charity, you have to be a registered charity in Jamaica needs to be the connection to you. And now you're sending directly to the registered charity in Jamaica, and then they can disseminate the products or the goods or the services which you're trying to offer down there. It's connecting with the right agencies. For example, you want to invest in Jamaica. How do you do it properly? You work with JAMPRO. JAMPRO has the opportunities and packages for people to invest directly in Jamaica. If you're thinking about them building a home, it's not about using your own contacts on the ground. It's about going through a developer that will enable a smooth transition of developing if you're going to invest in property in Jamaica. And these are a number of issues that people face and challenges that they have when they're trying to invest back home in Jamaica. It's just understanding the regulations, understanding the paperwork that needs to go ahead of many of these things, which will help them to avoid any problems that exist. If they have a business partner that is going to be starting a company that is not from Jamaica, they may encounter problems in terms of work permits. So it's understanding what procedures they need to go through in terms of getting their work permit and then looking at starting that business in Jamaica. So there are challenges, but as long as we are upskilled in terms of knowledge, then we'll avoid those challenges.
And for the entrepreneurs out there, this is a niche. Maybe you could create a website or website to say, okay, Jamaicans interested in a healthcare website, and then you work with that website or those organization or that team, and they say, okay, we're going to do this, and this. that means that if we send an ambulance to Jamaica, it doesn't sit on the porch for 6 months because the paperwork isn't there. We're going to do this, and we're going to follow the steps on that stuff. So those are some ideas, and I think it's about logistics. You know, I think that's a niche. So entrepreneurs listening to this podcast, that's a niche you might want to tap. You know, so take out your crystal ball and tell us, what do you see and how will be improved because of this effort?
How will our well-being be improved because of the effort?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yes.
so I mean, when you can connect back to your roots and heritage, it helps us a lot. I mean, I also chair Jamaicans Inspired, which is a website that reconnects the second and third and fourth generation Jamaicans back to their heritage. Many of these young people do not have a way of reconnecting back to their roots. And so by reconnecting individuals that have a desire to do something in the country of their birth or their heritage, it helps their well-being to know that they're doing something positive for that country.
Quite true. So any final words of wisdom?
I would say that if you are an entrepreneur looking to start business, then go for it. Find the right people, educate yourself, and just take the step. An opportunity is never lost. It's only given to somebody else. And
I like that. Say that again, so that that is a classic gem. Say that one more time.
I said the opportunity is not lost. It's only given to somebody else. And so oftentimes people would think, I had that idea, and then someone else does the idea. And the reason why they didn't achieve it is because they didn't make a movement. You cannot make footprints in the sand of time sitting down on your backside. You have to get up and move. You cannot sit down and expect things to happen. You want to make footprints in the sands of time. You have to get up and move. And so part of this initiative of trying to inspire people, motivate people to begin business, you can have your job, but if you've got an idea, I would just say get up and move and do it. I've said it before, the only limitation that exists is the one that is in our own mind. And once we begin to inspire, once we begin to read inspirational content, once we start to feed our mind with motivational content, once we start to educate our heads with business acumen, then you are equipped then to go out and actually do that business. Find a mentor. Get somebody on board to help you. Find your people that will support the initial investments and funds that you need to find at the beginning. Save the money. Start your business. The only thing that is stopping you is yourself, and that's what I encourage everybody to do, to go out and just achieve and do the best they can. And really, if they want to connect with us, any Jamaicans that want to connect with what we're doing, in fact, with Jamaicans Inspired, our website is www.jamaicans-inspired.com, because what we're saying is that we are inspirational people, and it's about changing the negative perception that exists of Jamaicans living within the diaspora. So if you are inspired Jamaican, then you are jamming. You are a jamming Jamaican. That's it.
Amen. To learn more about Nathaniel Peat, you can visit nathanielpeat.com. He also has another website called out-standing.org/empower. To learn more about Chris Daley, visit digitalmedia2, that's the number 2grow.com/VIP. And to learn about Jamaican Diaspora, visit JamaicanDiaspora.com. Oh, Nathaniel, we really enjoyed spending some time with us. Bye now.
Bye. I'll see you. Take care.